Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today I am reviewing this little baby, the Garmin R10. Your own portable launch monitor. Is it any good? And could this be the baby Trackman? I was very excited to get this. I've been looking for a small, affordable launch monitor to basically encourage my customers and students to use when they're practicing. First of all, to check constantly their distances and dispersion with the different clubs they have in the bag so that they can make more objective decisions on the golf course, and maybe even to help me to help them online with some kind of video lesson where I'm not only getting video pictures of what they're doing in their golf swing, but I can confirm what I think I'm seeing with real objective numbers. And that's what I've been doing this week, is testing the R10 directly against Trackman to see how good is it. And there's some good news and some bad news, as you can imagine. The first thing, which is a bit tricky, is just setting the thing up. You're basically eyeballing it. It has a red line on the top of the device, which with the help of an alignment stick, you should be lining up to the target. Now, I've practiced this many times this week, and I'm still getting quite big deviations in face and path. So I'm tending to think it's not just my alignment which is going wrong, it's also the device which is struggling to give me these kind of readings. But before I get into all the things that it can't do, maybe it would be a good idea to start with some of the things that it really does very well. So I just want to kind of throw a few numbers up here onto your screen and let you kind of have a look for yourself. This is a 7-iron with an average kind of club head speed of 75.5 miles an hour. You can see that the Garmin has picked it up as 75 miles an hour, and it really doesn't get any better than that. At the same time, the ball speed is absolutely landed on the dot, 99 miles an hour. Now that is really very impressive, and you can keep on going through these numbers. Look at the spin rate, within maybe 40-50 revs per minute in the spin rate is extremely impressive. And even the dispersion of 10 yards to the left is very close to the 8 yards to the left that the Trackman's giving me. But then, of course, it's only a $600 machine, but we are saying only $600 is still a lot of money. But against a $20,000 machine, unfortunately, it does trip up now and again. And where it's not really tripping up, though, is on club speed and ball speed. Again, a 77 mile an hour shot will give you 75 on the Garmin, and 95 or 96 mile an hour ball speed, 95 on the Garmin. So that is pretty consistent. Even the spin rate is very, very solid at 6,791 on Trackman and 6,755 on Garmin. These three numbers are consistently good on iron shots, although unfortunately aren't quite as good when you get the driver in your hand and the fairway woods. It seemed to me actually that the faster that the swing speeds get, the more that the Garmin seems to struggle with them, which I suppose to a certain extent is what you would expect. The big problem is if you're buying the R10 as a swing fixed device, something that's just going to give you information about face and path, swing direction, and so on and so forth. This is something it just at the moment isn't capable of, and I'm really not sure why they're including all these numbers, because sometimes they're really a bit off the mark. And you can see that with this particular shot, if you just look at the dispersion number of 5 yards to the right on the Garmin and 15 yards to the right on the Trackman. Now, obviously, if you're practicing on a range, you've just seen that the ball's gone further right than Garmin's telling you, and the carry distances are pretty good. We're looking at 127 on the Trackman, and on the Garmin, we're at 126. So really the distance is cool, but you can see that it's not really landed where you thought it was landing. And this is when we go a little bit deeper and look at things like club path. My club path, according to Trackman and according to the golf ball, was 0.8 out to in with a face at 3.4 degrees to the right. The Garmin, however, is saying that the path was actually 11 degrees to the right with a neutral club face, which was slightly open rather than slightly closed. So obviously any algorithm is going to make a totally different calculation of where the golf ball's going to land if those numbers aren't correct. And in the third example, with a club head speed of 80 miles an hour and a ball speed of 103, again, very, very good. Spin, excellent. But when we look at the actual launch numbers, face angle of 0.2 against 1.3 left, and the path of 0 against 8.3 left, then it gets a little bit of a problem. And these problems don't get better once you actually go into the driver numbers. First of all, the ball speed isn't quite as reliable. Here you can see 100 mile an hour ball speed becomes 95. A club speed of 100 miles an hour becomes 95. A ball speed of 140, 145. Now that I can really forgive it. The spin is also not quite as accurate as it was. We're looking at 300 RPM difference between the spin rate that Garmin is actually calculating against the one that Trackman is telling us. And the direction is totally off the charts. And I've hit a ball there 18 meters or yards right of the target, and according to Garmin, it's only gone 3 yards right. And again, the problem is face angle and path. The face angle on the Garmin is saying it's 0.8, and that's okay, it was 0.6, but the actual path was 7 degrees from the outside on the Trackman, and according to the Garmin, it was only 1 degree. And obviously, again, any algorithm is going to then give you totally wrong dispersion numbers. So again, if you're out on a range hitting live, you've got pretty good data on the thing. Although you can see the carry distance of a 245 on the Garmin is well off the 226 that the thing actually carried. So not as good as it was with the irons. And obviously if the dispersion is off as well, imagine that you're inside in a simulator and it's giving you these kind of numbers. You really don't know whether that was a good swing or a bad swing, because according to your feeling it wasn't very good, and according to the Garmin, the thing's gone down the middle. So can I recommend it? Well, I think I can for iron work, even to a certain extent. If it's just about distance control, you're going to get a good ballpark figure with the driver. You're going to get an excellent number with your irons. Spin numbers and ball speed, if that's your thing, then also very good numbers with the Garmin, although again they do go off a little bit once you get into the drivers. But what I really like about the Garmin is really how fun it is once you actually get into the app that they give you with it. There's a nice little thing called Home Tee Golf, which basically will give you a 2D simulator of your own golf course. That means that you can get out there and hit balls as if you were on the course, and it will simulate where the ball landed. Now, again, you're taking some of these numbers and directions with a pinch of salt, but if you really wanted to find out whether you could get over that water hazard or cut that corner on your home course, it will actually happen. And you can actually see whether it works or not on your phone while you're practicing. In fact, it allows me to do something which I used to do as a kid, which is basically kind of mentally playing the hole, hitting a driver, seeing where it would land, deciding on the club choice for the second shot, hitting the club choice, seeing if I'd hit the green, making the chip, and basically practicing on a driving range as if I was on the golf course. And this kind of feedback even if it's a little bit off, is really makes practicing really good fun. You could take it a step further because included in the app is a demo version of True Golf E6, which is a full 3D simulator. So you could theoretically set this thing up at home in the winter, and it's going to be at least as good as your Wii, if not better, because you're making full shots and you're staying fit at the same time. As I say, some of the data, especially with drivers, you'll have to take with a pinch of salt. You'll also find that if you're hitting drivers on the device, it's picking up maybe every other shot. I really struggled sometimes to get data on the driver, and I was hitting almost twice as many shots in order to get half the data with the Garmin than I would have done against the Trackman. The fact is, up until now, to get the kind of accuracy you get with Trackman, you've got to put out more money than any real average hobby golfer is ever going to invest. Is it worth investing $600? Well, if you've got $600 that you don't know what to do with, and you're really interested in your distance control, especially with irons, then yes, it is worth the money. As soon as you're getting into distance control with drivers, I'm not sure that it's quite good enough yet. But you pays your money and you takes your choice, and my job here is to give you my honest opinion about the device. Maybe not quite there yet, but it is a good start in the right direction. Your decision. Hope you liked it. If it did help you, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, please do so. Big thanks as every time to my patrons for supporting the channel like they do. If you would like to become a patron, I shall leave a link below. Until the next time, look after yourself and all the best.